Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this webinar. It's good to have you all with us. We know that it's always a busy day with all the stuff that you're doing, but you're taking the time to come and join us for this webinar. It certainly means a lot. So welcome to our webinar From Inbox to Sale, presented by ZeroBounce and Madrivo. I'm Paul Leslie, content creator with ZeroBounce. Hope you all are doing well. It always intrigues me. Where are you joining us from? If you're up to it, go ahead and comment where you're tuning in from. And also, along the way, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Just write them there in the chat. Our presenters will do their very best to answer all of them at the end. And again, thank you all so much for joining us. So first, I'm going to introduce Austin Helm, Business Development Executive at ZeroBounce. Austin has worked with many businesses and individuals on improving email deliverability and boosting ROI. He has a lot of knowledge on maximizing your effectiveness with your email list. It's also my pleasure to introduce Layne Kennedy, Senior Director of Client Partnerships at Madrivo. And Layne is an expert in funnels and performance in the email marketing space with over 15 years of experience in online advertising, including the last 5 years at Madrivo. Her career began with managing search campaigns for Fortune 500 companies at business.com, and she has since become a leader in developing comprehensive, data-driven strategies for some of the world's biggest brands. As Senior Director at Madrivo, she's known for her holistic approach to email marketing, seamlessly integrating email with social, display, and search to create powerful multi-channel campaigns that maximize consumer engagement. We're thrilled to have her share her expertise on leveraging email as a cornerstone of a broader digital strategy. Now, many of you all are familiar with ZeroBounce. With more than 350,000 clients, we are the #1 email verifier. If you're one of those 350,000, we thank you. You're going to see a lot of very well-known brands, everything from Amazon and LinkedIn to Coca-Cola and Netflix. It's also my pleasure to tell you a little bit about Madrivo. Madrivo is a leading email-focused agency sending 12 billion emails monthly and partnering with the largest, most compliant mailers globally. They specialize in email marketing, paid search, social media, and conversion-optimized design. Their integrated approach combines powerful email campaigns with targeted social media and paid search strategies to maximize reach, engagement, and ROI. With expertise in deliverability, list optimization, and data-driven targeting, they ensure your marketing efforts deliver measurable results across all channels. And with that, I will hand things over to our presenters. And again, thank you all so much for joining.
Good to be here. Thank you, Paul, for the introduction. Layne, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. So it's good to be with you, everybody. Thank you all for joining. We always look forward to all the different places people come from and just getting to meet you all. And hopefully we can provide you with some valuable information here. Just to give you a brief overview of how we're going to do this, I'm going to start off. We're going to have a little bit of a conversation back and forth talking about ensuring how your emails can reach the inbox and why that is important. And then Layne is going to take it from there. We'll go back and forth a little bit about how you then can turn it into dollars and what you can do to optimize that. So Layne, thank you for being here. Let's get this thing going. Okay. So why, Layne, do you believe it is so important to rely on emails? Why is email such an important thing, especially in the world today?
I mean, back in the day, people were relying on the post office and snail mail to do everything. And now the world has sped up so much, and an email is the fastest way to reach somebody anywhere at any time and be able to market to them, cross-sell to them, and it's semi-exclusive, right? Like anybody can sign on and create a Facebook ad account and market to Facebook users, but the data that you have is so valuable as there's a limited amount of people that can market to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Email ultimately, everything you do when you're doing outreach is done with the goal of getting somebody's email address. It's the foundation of everything you're doing with your contact list and your outreach. So making sure that your email list is clean, it's good, you're delivering emails is going to be one of the pillars of the business that you're building. And especially for your marketing outreach, it's of vital importance, because that's really how you communicate with everybody. It's the virtual version of the mailbox in front of people's houses. So getting the information to where it needs to go and doing that in the most effective manner is going to be the most important thing.
So now that we know why email is important, what are the general things you want to look for to make sure you're being effective with your email marketing?
Good question. So there's a couple things that you're looking at. There's a couple basic things. A lot of people think that email is, it looks like a very simple thing from the outside, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes that make it work. And so in order to be as effective as possible, the general things you're going to want to make sure of are, number one, are my emails getting delivered? Are they getting to the inboxes of the people that I want them to get to? So you're looking for your levels of deliverability, your engagement, whether or not your emails are bouncing, and whether or not you're going to spam. Those are going to be the fundamental things that you're going to look at to determine the effectiveness that you're having with your emails. Then you can get into all the funkier stuff, the more detailed stuff, the stuff that's going to tweak things a little bit, but that's going to be the foundation.
Does the placements of the emails within different folders or types of inboxes matter?
It absolutely does. So, as you know, Google had made a big adjustment a little bit ago where they started grouping inboxes into different categories. They have now your promotional folder, the regular inbox folder, the forums folder, the social folder. So getting to the inbox is obviously the goal of everybody, because that's where most people just look at their emails. I don't know about you, Layne, but I don't often check my spam box or my promotions box or any of that. It might be different for you if you like to shop or something like that, since you're digging into that.
Only when I'm looking for logins or trying to reset my password and I'm not getting the email will I look in my spam folder.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not happening often. So the goal obviously here is to get into the inbox. So as you can see, there's a couple stats here of what people ignore, and it's just very few times a year that people are going to actually be checking those other folders. So figuring out how to get into the inbox is going to be the thing that you want to do. So how do we get into the inbox? What things are going to impact your ability to deliver? Now, the fundamental thing that you're going to want to do when you're getting together your email marketing strategy is just making sure that the email contacts that you have are actually real. Why is this important? Because when you send an email, if you don't get to the inbox and you don't deliver, the email is going to do only bad things. So it's either going to bounce, it's going to go to spam, it's going to go to one of the other folders. There's definitely levels of severity when it comes to how bad it can be. But if you're bouncing emails, if you're getting things like hard bounces, soft bounces, that's going to start doing damage. If you're going to spam, that's going to start doing damage to your what's called your domain reputation or your sender's reputation, depending on what you've heard before. So as that email works like a snowball, I always say it works like a snowball. If things start getting bad, they're going to get worse. And if things start going well, they're going to get better. So you always just want to be sure you're pushing the ball in the right direction. And so the way you do this, the fundamental thing you need to do is just clean up your email list, maintain your email list. And making sure those contacts are real is what's going to be ensure that everything is going to be smooth. If you don't do anything else in the email marketing world, this one fundamental thing is going to help to make sure that you're not going to have any major issues, because it can get really ugly. I always say I get one of two types of clients. I get people calling me saying, hey, I'm just doing maintenance of my database. I need to get the email list cleaned. Or I get people calling me freaking out. Oh my God, everything's going to spam. Got to shut the domain down, start over, warm it up. And then you have major problems that you really don't want. So getting your email list clean is done through a process called email validation. Sorry, Layne, I'm going a little bit, trying to figure out where we are on the slides here, but we should be good to go. So email validation is the process of ensuring that your contacts are actually going to be the type of contacts that you want to send to. Obviously, there's a couple different kinds of emails out there. There's your valid emails, which are going to be the ones that you actually want to send to. Invalid emails, these are emails that contain typos. They're addresses that don't exist. There's spam traps, which are traps designed to catch spammers. There's catch-all emails, which are really the only gray area there is in email validation. These are emails that are accepting everything that's coming through. So you don't know whether it's a valid email or an invalid email. You have to be careful when sending to these. And then there's other types of temporary emails, the 30-second emails that I'm sure many of you out there have done at some point to use to sign up for some service. So you have to validate against those as well. This process is done to just sift through the garbage and get you to the good stuff and make sure that you have what you need. And so we offer a validation service. It's a very simple service where you can upload your email list. We'll validate everything and tell you what the statuses of those emails are. And then you can take the good ones and then you're off to the races with your sending. We also have an option there. A lot of people like to do nowadays the real-time validation on their forms that they use, or on the account registration or after sales are occurring. When people are entering their email addresses into the form, then the validation is performed on the fly in real time, so that you know right away whether or not the person is giving you a good or a bad email, and then you can decide what to do with it, whether or not you want to provide them the service, whether or not you want to allow them through. It's a very useful tool, especially if you're having a lot of people sign up through your website or something like that. So obviously after validating the email, the goal is to decrease your bounce rate. That's the magic number with bounce rate, just for everybody out there, is around 3%. As the bounce rate starts approaching 3%, things start to kind of, that's when you're going to start seeing there might be some issues, might be some weird things that are happening with your sending. Your engagement's not as good, and then you're going to start asking questions. But as long as you stay under the 3% number, you should be good to go. And it's all, like I said before, it's all simply done just through cleaning up your email list. So just to review here, the goal is to keep the bounce rates low, make sure that you're not delivering into spam, getting to the correct inbox, and driving that engagement that you're looking for, which is ultimately going to drive ROI. So converting all those emails that you have, making sure they're good and turning them into sales is what you want to be focused on. Make sure you get that email list clean. And with that, Layne, why don't we talk a little bit now about what is going on with Madrivo and converting those leads after you've cleaned them into actual sales?
Absolutely. Let's do it. So Austin told us how we're going to inbox and get our email delivered. But now that it's in someone's inbox, what are we going to do with it? The biggest thing to start with is that we need them to open the email. So a couple of things that are really important for that: compelling subject lines. So you need to keep subject lines concise and to the point. Over 80% of emails are being opened on mobile devices. So it's important to remember that you're only seeing 30 characters or less on a mobile device. So you need to use that space in the best way possible in order to get somebody to open the email in that shortest amount of time. So it's really important that, the beginning of the subject line has a call to action, creates a sense of urgency or a value proposition. Avoid spammy words like free that might make you end up back in the spam box even after all of this delivery advice. And personalized subject lines are still really working well. So if you can tell somebody about their city or their state or include their first name in the subject line, the open rates increase. Segmentation and targeting. You can do behavioral targeting to know somebody's preferences. A/B testing to see what subject lines or what sort of content makes them engage the most. Optimizing send times. If you look at people opening their emails, most often in the morning and the afternoon on weekdays is the best time to reach consumers. But maybe your consumers are different. All of these things need to be kind of tested out. The most important thing that people forget is the pre-header text. So the same way that if you're buying an ad on Google search, it would be like only using the headline and not using anything underneath. This is all real estate that you have to get somebody to open that email. So the pre-header text will be the text that's at the top of the email once they're opening it, but it also shows as a preview. And you want to have like a call to action and something in there as well. Just make sure it's concise and adds value.
So what about driving consumers down the funnel here? Do prompts change, for instance, if we're looking for visitors to the website versus actual leads?
Yes. So your email is open now that you had great subject lines. So you're just going to make sure you have compelling and relevant content. So you want to provide, collabs with other brands, products that are similar to what that you've already sold them, and complement it so that you're targeting something that this person is interested in. The clear and prominent call to actions. It's important to have bold buttons above the fold. So people are seeing them and clicking on them that are, saying shop now, learn more, claim your offer. Easy to find. It's also nice to put call to actions and buttons throughout the entire email. So as somebody's scrolling down, they don't have to scroll back up to click through. Responsive and mobile friendly designs. So if all these people are looking at the emails on their phones, it's important that they're formatted properly. I don't know about you, but I've definitely been on my phone trying to open an email, just hitting my phone button and the formatting is wrong or it's cut incorrectly.
Yeah.
And you just can't get in. And once again, personalization. If something says, Austin, this deal is for you, it's going to grab your attention more than a generic subject line.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to stress too, just how important it is to have all of that working and simple, because the attention span people have for this stuff, and if something's not working, they're done. They'll leave. And then you lose that conversion. You have to keep it going and make it as smooth as possible.
Absolutely. And people remember too. Like if I had opened an offer from some company and I was like, last time I went in, their email didn't even work. It loses legitimacy, and it impacts like your perception of the brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So your previous question. So are we looking for engagement? Are we looking for sales? So it's important to know what you're hoping to do with that consumer once they get to your website. Are you trying to get them to deep link and spend a certain amount of time on the website, engaging in content, maybe looking at your other advertisers? Or are you driving them to the lead or sale? So if you're looking for site engagement and visitors, one of the biggest thing is just a seamless user experience. So the email content, the branding, the color format, the font, everything should be cohesive with the landing page as soon as they get to the website. When those two things don't match, it raises a red flag in a consumer that something's wrong with the path that they've taken. So for instance, this, webinar being purple, we would then want to carry that color over to the landing page. Similar font as well. Offer incentives. So there's a couple things that you can do with this. You could come up with like a loyalty program where people keep coming back, offer people that are subscribed limited time offers, discounts. The loyalty program can have rewards for users coming and visiting and purchasing different things. Content driven management is important. So you're trying to drive the users to places that make them stay. You don't want them to pop onto the website and then leave. So blog posts, product videos, customer stories, different how-to guides to sort of keep them on the site and going, from page to page, article to article is really important. Minimizing friction. So please have fast loading pages with simple clutter-free designs. Consumers don't really like to have that many options. And when they're overwhelmed with that kind of thing, they'll just leave. So it's important that your funnel is clear and concise and that the pages don't take so long to load. I know that someone may think that, the integrity of the design looks great with a video on it and really complex, animation. But if that page doesn't load, the consumer is going to leave. So they'll never see it anyways. Follow-up strategies. So we've seen a lot of success with clients of ours that we handle their email marketing, like Wild Alaskan Seafood, with retargeting. So, they'll watch the cart fall off. They'll then continue to email those people that they've received the email submits from. And then we continue to market to third parties. So it's really important to have, a funnel of follow-up strategies to make sure that you hold on to that consumer as long as you can and continue to market with them. And social proof and user-generated content, reviews, testimonials, videos, things to drive people to your social media pages. It really creates trust and improves the engagement. So now what about sales and converted actions? So this is if you're trying to bring someone from your email to a landing page to have them convert, submit a lead, purchase a product. This is where it's a different approach than engagement, because with engagement, you're trying to drive them to all these different pages on the site. With this, you want the clearest funnel ever so that they cannot get distracted or fall off. So one of the important things is to make it clear why they should take action, like a limited time deal, outline what's in it for them, focus on the benefits and what they'll get. So like get a discount now, there's free shipping, you can get this upgrade, 20% off the order, whatever it is. And once again, the call to actions are very important. You just want to highlight the product or service in the email, but not give so much information, as if you give all the information in the email, there's no reason for them to click through to the landing page to find out more.
Hey, Layne, quick question here about the call to actions. Is there a certain number of call to actions that's good to have? Can you do too many call to actions?
Yes, you don't want to confuse the consumer and have a lot of different ones all over the page. So it shouldn't be shop now, claim your offer, 20% off. That's too much. You need to have clear and concise messaging. But as you're scrolling down the page, no matter when somebody has the email open, so if you have like a longer content email, they should not have to scroll anywhere to be able to, click and find out more. It is nice to have 2 call to actions at least, so that if somebody's not ready to shop now, purchase now immediately, a learn more button or something that will get the consumer to go to your site and find out more is another way to make sure that user doesn't fall off if they're not ready to purchase immediately. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Let's see. Same thing with social proof and trust signals. You also, depending on your product, can do something like a secure checkout logo, money back guarantees. If you have good consumer trust reviews, anything that will allow you to get permission to use their logos, of course, that helps the customer feel comfortable putting in their credit card information, and knowing that your site is secure for them and they don't have to worry about getting that information stolen. The secondary CTA is what I was speaking of before. Another chance to engage if they're not ready. Something that'll just help them move down the funnel, like a learn more, explore products. You could schedule an appointment or a consultation, whatever you're looking for. And then I do love to use urgency and reminders. So using FOMO. So essentially, this product is on the sale ends on this date, having a countdown of the number of items left in stock if you actually have a limited amount of items left in stock. Things like that can prompt faster action from the users. So that kind of covers how to engage your existing customer database. So if you have people that have signed up and they're within your database, then you're the one that's marketing to them. So new customer acquisition is a little bit more difficult because you don't have that data. So how are you supposed to market to new people if you don't have the emails to send it to them? That's where it comes in to use an email agency. So Madrivo is an agency. There are plenty of them in the industry that have different niches that they specialize in. But why are email marketing agencies important? So you're going to expand your reach, as I mentioned, access to new audiences, reach new markets. You're going to have pre-qualified leads. So a lot of email marketing agencies have segmented data towards different demographics. It's typically easier to target like a 45 plus audience with email that you're not necessarily getting on social media as well. So to have like a comprehensive marketing strategy that expands across different channels is really important. It's really cost effective because you're not building a list from scratch. You have a faster time to market because companies like ours, we have a ton of data. We mail over 12 billion emails a month internally, not even including our email partners. So, you could come to us with a campaign we can quickly launch. It's just lower cost than traditional channels, like paid search or display, offering a higher ROI. It's less competitive in terms of there's not, thousands of people real time bidding on one term at a time. And you're able to more exclusively reach that consumer and get their attention more so than, just going around on the internet. There's just ads popping up everywhere. Access to tools and technologies. So, we're able to provide you with a lot more optimization strategy, competitive analysis, things that you wouldn't necessarily have access to if you're trying to run your own email marketing campaigns, which helps to drive leads more effectively. And so it strengthens the overall marketing strategy.
Is it possible to do this without enlisting an agency?
Yes, it is possible to do it without enlisting an agency. The only issue is you would have to find mailers that are very compliant, that are comfortable managing suppressions, that you're confident is representing your brand and sending everything the way it needs to be sent. So yes, you can. I actually know there's a there's a case study later in the slide deck with Ethos Life Insurance as an example. So they were planning to manage their own email marketing strategy. Then they moved to somebody that really didn't specialize in email, and it wasn't that ROI effective for them. And they came to Madrivo, who, since we specialize in it, redid their landing pages and their flow and made creatives and did the, subject line optimization and all of this stuff. I typically like to go to people that are professionals in things, even in my personal life. So, if my husband does, finance for a living, I'm going to go to him and have him go over my stock choices with me. I hope he would come to me if he needed something in advertising, but we can't all be experts at everything. So I think it's important to, delegate where your time is best spent.
So what are we looking for then when we're looking for an agency? What are the best things to consider?
So you would want to have a proven track record. I would look for an email marketing agency that specializes in high brands in a similar vertical or market or demographic as yours. So if you can get, examples of people that are focused on life insurance and have done well for life insurance brands, that might be a good choice for you. It's difficult when somebody doesn't have experience within a certain vertical, as there are slight variances across them. Who you're targeting, the age range, the household income, the gender. Do we want families? So it's easier to work with somebody that has already experienced success targeting a similar demographic as the product that you're selling. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of compliance and deliverability. This is a very big deal for email. It is, your email is in your inbox forever. They can find records of it forever. So if there's a canned spam issue, CCPA, GDPR, any of those things, it, can lead to issues. So it's very important that you have somebody that knows the ins and outs and has like a strong legal representation that specializes in email to make sure everything you're doing, protects the consumer and makes the best representation of the brand, really, because you don't want to, be sending to somebody that doesn't want an email and have an opt-out functionality not work or anything like that. Because we're trying to, uplift the brand and give the best experience for the consumer possible. Creative and content excellence. So, that's what I mean about creating additional landing pages and email creatives, sort of helping with the flow as you drive the user down the funnel. Advanced personalization. So there are some companies that claim to sort of specialize in email, but it's more of a set it and forget it management style. So you wouldn't necessarily have a dedicated account rep who's working on your campaign, trying to optimize and manage your, caps and your KPIs and everything to the best of their ability on a daily basis. It's more of like a set it and forget it. And then you kind of have to sort out how to reach your KPIs on your own, which is pretty difficult without guidance. So you do want someone that has a more hands-on management approach that's going to suggest optimizations, and really data-driven is important. And then just scalability and flexibility. It's important to be able to pivot. So, if something is going on in the news or the marketplace right now that could impact your product in a good way, we want to take advantage of that immediately. So somebody that can, go with the trends and be able to update things and doesn't have like a super long process that would end up making you miss an opportunity to reach consumers at the peak of a trend. And these are the ZeroBounce. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay. So thank you everybody for tuning in here. Are there any questions at this time? We're going to open it up to some Q&A, and then we'll make sure to let you know what after the Q&A, we have some promos here. I think we're going to pass out Layne, and then we'll wrap it up. But anybody with any questions, you can put them in the chat there. Paul's going to read them out. What do we got here?
We got one from Sarash here. Very good question. What is A/B testing?
Okay, so A/B testing is, let's say you're going to be trying to see which email a consumer reacts towards better. You're going to, like a science experiment, make some changes, but not enough that the entire thing is different so that you have a control, just like, any science experiment. So you could test different subject lines, same creative, same everything, and see which one does better. You could test different send times so that you could track the people that open at different times and figure out when your lists prefer what days, what times work the best for them. Different content, different promos. So for instance, I know that we've had like HelloFresh as an example, has tested like 20% off, $100 off, 10 free meals, 16 free meals. So they're testing different promos to see which drives the most user engagement. And it's also just interesting because a lot of the times it's not the one that you would think or even the best deal. It's just the certain price point that sounds clickable.
That is interesting.
All right. Anything you would like to add, Austin?
A/B testing's more towards, or more geared towards what Layne typically deals with. The only question I had was, with A/B testing, Layne, when do you know when it's time to quit? Like one of the campaigns, or what you're trying to do with the tests.
So you're never really going to want to quit because the content is always going to need to be updated. You can't send the same thing to the consumers, but you just have to take the data and you can push those learnings into new campaigns. So let's say you're A/B testing and one of the subject lines has an open rate that is, at 46%, and the other one has one that's at 11%. You would then go with subject lines similar to that and continue to build on the knowledge you've created, versus only sending that subject line forever. Or if you're doing like a formatting test, if you see that your clients tend to click on things that have more content, or they love user generated content, or they want to see testimonials, then that's something that you can include in other creatives and continue to optimize until you have, the best performer.
Okay, so it's something you just constantly want to monitor and adjust as you're going along and getting the results.
Yeah, because we're going to want to have like seasonal creatives and different promos. And, let's say there's a TikTok trend that's going on, like this so demure thing that was happening recently. I'm not sure if everyone was familiar with it, but I got a ton of emails from brands saying that you need to be that this new dress is so demure and things like that. So it's just constantly keeping up with the trends and making sure that you're relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And so this question is from Zaya. What are some good resources for email design? Sometimes we struggle with the iFlow of an email page.
So there's a lot of things that you can do in terms of improving your email design. I think that if you wanted to just kind of do it yourself, I would use some resources with like an AI and ask, what the ideal formats are. I know one thing that we've found in particular is that there needs to be a good image to text ratio. So typically we see that a 70 to 30 image to text ratio helps to inbox, because it seems more like a friend sending something with an image in it versus one giant image that's not sliced. So it's important to have kind of a balance. And then similar, I don't know, above the fold is what they call it. But back when you would look at a newspaper and open it and there'd be a fold in the middle, that's what they talk about when they refer to like the top of the email. So as soon as the email is open, there should be a way for that customer to not even have to scroll down, because that's your prime real estate. That's where the ads would have been the most expensive in a paper newspaper. And that's where the focus is going to be for everyone opening their email.
All I would add there is just remember you're dealing with human beings. Like, nobody wants to see things that look like it's large, a ton of things to read, too much, too overwhelming. Simple, logical progression, and in my opinion, short and sweet. That's what's going to get you the most engagement, because people are just moving from thing to thing nowadays, especially with everything trying to grab everybody's attention. You really have to be concise in your design and what you're doing.
I agree. One of the
All
biggest
right.
mistakes we see is that we'll put everything in the email, all of the value propositions, everything that the product does, and then the user will click on the email and go to the landing page, and it's all of the same information bulleted. I know I said we want cohesion, but we don't want redundancy. So it's important that the points in the email are short and succinct enough to drive the user to the page to find out more, not to read the same information that was already in the email.
Yeah. Just a good logical flow.
Absolutely. And yes, EJ, this presentation, we are going to make it available to everybody out there. There will be a link for anyone who wants to rewatch. And then a question from Erica. Do the email marketing agencies replace someone in the email marketing role, or is it in partnership with that person?
100% it's in partnership with that person. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without a representative on the other side. So for instance, on the slide, with all of the brands that we work with, so we have a rep at Noom that specializes in the email marketing space, and she is our day-to-day contact. Wild Alaskan, we have a rep there. So you would want to have somebody in a role. It doesn't have to specifically be email marketing, but it needs to be like partnership manager or an affiliate management role where that they would be able to work with us because, you still need your email marketing agency to get your approvals on things, that the branding is in line with how you want it to be represented, that you're comfortable with the way the consumer is being approached, even the tone or the language that you commonly speak to your clients in when writing your own emails, we would want to emulate because of that cohesion. So no, absolutely does not replace the person at your company. There should be a representative involved at your company on all levels.
All right, that looks like all the questions that we have. Any closing thoughts? Any words of wisdom for our viewers out there before we go?
Go ahead, Layne. I'll let you start this off.
I think it's important to just focus on innovation and improvement, and don't let yourself get stagnant in the same marketing strategy. Things are always changing, and even different channels are always changing. So it's important to be nimble and willing to pivot towards however you're going to reach different consumers. There's a certain demographic we're reaching a lot with social and search comparison, but email continues to be one of the highest quality traffic sources that we have, with the lowest cost to engage that consumer. So I think that regardless of what channel you're looking for, it's important to have a sector of it dedicated to email.
And the only thing I would add is that it's a simple thing. The concepts are simple. The execution requires discipline. From the cleaning up of your email list and making sure that your contacts are good, staying up with the cleanliness of what you're doing, to then I love that word that you use there, Layne, being nimble and keeping up with what's going on and being able to move from thing to thing in order to stay up with the trends and things like that. Constantly adapting, constantly learning. None of these concepts are complicated. None of this is that hard to understand. It just requires discipline. So being sure that you're keeping up with those things and constantly improving just is going to require that discipline to have that effectiveness. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, I was just going to say, thank you both. Thank you, Layne. Thank you, Austin. Lots of
Layne,
great information.
Layne, where can they find you at? What's Madrivo got going on for these people?
Oh, we have a couple of promos that we are going to offer. So Madrivo is doing a $2,500 promo for new advertisers. So if you are looking to hire an email marketing agency, if you spend $2,500 to do a CPM with our email lists, which I mentioned, we send over $12 billion a month to Prime Data users that are happy to take out their credit cards and are very engaged. We'll give you a $2,500 bonus CPM on top of that. So you'll get a full 5K buy. And then for new mailers, if you want to start working with Madrivo and helping us expand our distribution to people outside of our internal lists, if you are able to do $4,000 a month for the first 2 months, we're going to offer you a $2,000 bonus as well.
That's great to hear. And on our end, anybody with any questions, anybody wanting any demonstration or consultation on anything you're having, any issues you're having with your email deliverability, you can reach me at austin@zerobounce.net. The promo that we're going to be giving away is 5,000 free credits to validate 5,000 emails that you have on your list. Again, contact me or email support in order to claim that. And just mention that you were here at the webinar, and we'll get you all set up and going. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so you can reach out to, here's the email for everybody looking for the address, support@zerobounce.net, or if you feel like talking to me again, austin@zerobounce.net. But I believe that's everything we got here, Paul.
I did see that ours was the sales@madrivo.com address. So if you want to reach me, you can just reach out to Layne@madrivo.com, Layne, outside of the sales for either thing as well.
Cool.
All right. And thank you all for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you all. You all have a great day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Layne.
Thank you, Austin.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.